Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing Star Wars on the Front Lines by Daniel Wallace. Before I start this review today, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It means a lot to me. But now, on to the review. On the Front Lines is kind of falls in that category of Star Wars books that's more on the encyclopedia side versus, you know, having a plot and telling a story. I don't really have as many Star Wars books in that category as some people. I have a few, but it's never been one like, I feel like, oh, every time one of those books I have to get it, you know. It's not I much prefer the novels. But every once in a while I get one of these books, and I always really enjoy them when I do. And this one, honestly, might be my favorite of the kind of almost encyclopedia type Star Wars books. I really enjoyed it. It has some beautiful artwork in it. Let me find you a good example of some of the artwork. So, like for example here, Battle Cursant, and that's kind of a dark picture, so I'm not sure how well it shows up. Let's get into their this artwork throughout it. There's probably one that might show up a little bit better. But basically the concept of this book, it kind of explores the history of the Star Wars universe through the major battles that have been fought on it. And the most recent one that was in this book is basically the battles of The Force Awakens, so Starkiller Base. So there's nothing from episode 8 and 9. So basically it's prequels, Clone Wars stuff, through the original trilogy to The Force Awakens. And how each, I guess, basically each battle is a chapter, and it kind of first gives you an introduction of like how the battle came about, who the sides were, and then it gives you a bio on the leaders on each side, like who was the commanding generals or admirals. Then it gives you a kind of a 1 to 2 page rundown. This is how the battle transpired. Then there's an overview of the technology involved, so the type of spaceships, you know, guns, you know, tanks, stuff that fall in that category, the type of soldiers involved, the species, and then there's at the end there'll be like a first-hand account, or it's almost like somebody that fought in the battle, kind of giving their little perspective, like this is what my part of the battle was like. And then usually a lot of times there's like a little blurb from somebody that was kind of a hero of the battle, but maybe they died during the battle, kind of like, you know, honoring this person. So it kind of gives you a very quick, interesting look at each battle into perspective, almost like this is being written like if you lived in the Star Wars universe, might be like an encyclopedia entry for this battle. And each one of these, as I showed you through, I was flipping through, there's beautiful artwork with it. So this is not kind of one of those Star Wars books that's kind of giving you like, this is how behind the creations of this, and this is what inspired it. This has actually been written like a non-fiction book in the Star Wars universe, which is kind of a cool way to kind of look at it. So if you're kind of interested in the world building of Star Wars and kind of exploring that aspect of it, I think you'll really enjoy it. If you're not so much into that type of stuff and you're more like, I just want plot and storyline, this is not really going to be the type of book for you. I'll also say if you're really into like Star Wars art, there are some beautiful pieces of artwork in this one, so I'd recommend it for that. But if you're kind of interested in learning a little bit more of like the history behind Star Wars, specifically battles, I would definitely recommend On the Front Lines by Daniel Wallace. I think this book is also really useful if you're not as familiar with a certain aspect of Star Wars, say like, you know, maybe you never really got into the prequels, so you've only watched maybe once. You haven't watched the Clone Wars animated series, so you don't really know much about that period of Star Wars history. You know, you can kind of get this book and like learn a little bit about that, you know, real quick. You're like, oh, okay, here's the key figures, here's the key battles that shaped the history of it. It's kind of a good way to kind of catch up on aspects of Star Wars that you might not be familiar with. So overall, I would definitely highly recommend Star Wars On the Front Lines by Daniel Wallace. In the comment section below, please let me know, do you have a favorite Star Wars book that kind of falls in this category? That's kind of more of the, comes at it from the non-fiction side of things, almost more like a history book or overview of the species in Star Wars universe or the technology. If you have one of those favorite books, let me know in the comment section below. honestly, probably this might be my second. My favorite is from a little bit different standpoint of more of the our world nonfiction view of Star Wars, and that is I have the book that's The Art of the Force Awakens, which that book is amazing. The artwork's absolutely beautiful. Those books are a little expensive, so that's the only art of, but I know I've heard of people who've got other art ofs for certain Star Wars movies, and they're always mind-blowingly awesome. So I would recommend you checking that out if you haven't for any of those art of books. But for the nonfiction view of Star Wars from within the Star Wars universe, this is definitely the best book I've read. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Happy reading, and may the Force be with you.